Good morning. Since we have a full audience, I think we can start early today. So thank you all for coming. My name is Peter Vanlerberghe. I'm managing the pre-sales team at Rapid7. And I'm here today with Barry, my colleague. And we're going to give you an exciting demo today around ransomware prevention. But before we do so, and before we go into an actual demo, I want to give you a little bit more context about Rapid7, our company, what we do, so you have a little bit more of understanding of our vision and what we do before we dive into the technology. So next slide, please. So for those who don't know Rapid7, we are an American-based company, now 25 years in the industry. We are focused completely on cybersecurity, and we have presence around the globe. In the Netherlands, we have our office here next to the Arbeurs, so next to the white building of Gemeente Utrecht, we have our location, and I think we right now have around 30 people working in the Benelux region for the company. We deliver different software and services for over 11,000 customers today, and of course a lot of them also here today on the roadshow. Now, many people know Rapid7 because of our research and community. So we deliver a lot for the community, and I will explain you a couple projects which you might recognize in the next slide. So maybe the most common or familiar name around Rapid7 is Metasploit. So Metasploit is the most used penetration test tool in the world, and it's used by over 200,000 active contributors. And we own Metasploit, so we give it a safe home for its development. Now, the good thing with Metasploit is that we understand the attacker's mindset, and with this we can help our customers to understand what to prioritize. For example, if a new exploit is being released in Metasploit, and if a script kiddie can use it, it's a bigger risk for our customers than whether you need to be an advanced hacker to use certain exploits. And information like this we can reuse and feed back to our customers. Also, we are a CVE naming authority, so we can publish our own CVEs. And we have plenty of projects. I won't go through all of them, but maybe a couple of them, like Project Sonar is a worldwide internet scanning project where we identify all open ports, vulnerabilities across different countries, and then we publish those results back to the community. Lorelei is then the opposite, so it's a global honeypot network. So we have honeypots all over the world, and based on the attacks that are happening on those honeypots, we know what's going on, and we can also involve that into our research projects. And maybe as the last one, Velociraptor might be also a familiar name for any of you using MDR services, so SOC services. Most of those providers use Velociraptor. This is a digital forensic tool which allows you to go really deep into the endpoint. So whenever a breach happens and you need to figure out where the attacker is, where the traces are of the malware, etc., Velociraptor comes at play. It's free to use and of course widely used in the community. So that's a little bit more about our threat intelligence. Now, if you look to how we deliver our products to the market, so what we have is our command platform, and that gives you a full visibility of your attack surface. Now, of course, many customers have existing solutions in their environment, and that's something we can ingest. So we are partnering with over 300 existing vendors out there to ingest their data. Next to it, we have all kinds of components, of which Barry will show you today, such as our next-gen AV or agent. And of course, all those Rapid7 components also produce data. All this data goes into the command platform, and then mainly we do two things. Proactively, we can run exposure management to give you insights on your vulnerabilities in your environment, but also not only on infrastructure, but also web applications, etc. And then we also do a lot around detection and response. As of today, we have over 2,000 customers worldwide that rely on our managed detection and response service. And also a lot of those customers rely here in the Netherlands. And since we can do that at scale, we can attract the right talent, the right people, and I think we now have 5 SOC locations over the world. The closest here are Ireland and in Prague, but of course also across the globe. We go further, US, Australia, etc. Next slide, please. Now, from the technology perspective, of course, to make everything come alive, we of course need a lot of plugins, connectors, and capabilities of ingesting that data. And we do that through incident commands. We can bridge the gap, let's say, between attack surface management and threat detection. We see in a lot of organizations this is like a separate thing, but we can combine those two with our new platform, which is AI-driven, and also, for example, can make really smart decisions based on the data that is ingested there. And then next slide. Now, one of the key components which drives our solutions is an inside agent. It's a very lightweight agent, and the cool thing with the agent, and you will see it in action today after my slides, is the agent, based on your license, can do different capabilities. So if you want vulnerability management, you can do that through the agent, of course. Today it's compatible on Linux, Mac and Windows devices. But then if you want to grow into, for example, or MDR or SIM, it's a matter of activating more switches in the cloud, and then the agent becomes smarter and can help you with that. Not only can it help you with vulnerability management and EDR, but also, for example, we can also enable Velociraptor on the agent, and we can enable next-gen antivirus, which we will showcase today. Next-gen AV is a component which is not maybe our most popular one, but we have something pretty unique in the agent, which is the reason of the presentation today. Next slide. And then maybe my last slide, and then we go over in the action with Barry. Like what we see today is, if you put it on a matrix, on a diagram, you see that traditional antivirus and next-gen AV is looking to known malware, so based on signatures. Then we of course see a big ramp up now in EDR and XDR, which is looking to unknown things based on behavior. But that's more relying to detection and response. If you look in the prevention phase, and that's what we will showcase today, ransomware prevention, something that proactively already blocks malware from executing around ransomware. That's something we have embedded into our agent, and where the presentation is about today. Barry, the floor is yours.
Now better. Perfect. So what I will do today is just to show a ransomware attack with different kind of scenarios. So one is normal AV solution, one with next-gen AV, and one with ransomware prevention. That's to show you different kind of behaviors. And what I will do is, this will be the demo I will show. So in this case, one email will arrive, someone click on an attachment, and then shit hits the fan. And we start disabling Defender, because that's the AV on the system. Then we deploy Mimikatz, implement keyloggers, and then do all the ransomware stuff again. So this is typically what we see in the field currently happening around ransomware. Just not only one thing, but a lot of things will be triggered. But by one file, download all kind of files from external, and then make a command and control connection. Just to show what this demo environment is. So this is my demo environment running on AWS using CloudShare. It's one subnet in this case. So a big organization has different kind of subnets, but just for demo purpose, I will show you this is the systems I'm using. So it's an Ubuntu machine for my command and control. Windows client with ransomware prevention, one with next-gen AV, and one with only our EDR agent. And on top of that is installed Windows Defender for AV solution by default on Windows. So this is the malicious email has been provided to all the victims in this case. So attachment with an invoice. And we copied this example from Quackbot. Maybe you've heard about it. And this is a bit what we also show in this demo. So someone have an email, he downloads the file, he opens the file. It looks like a normal PDF, but in the back end there's more happening. So there's a communication happened to command and control and downloading more malicious files like keyloggers and mimicots, etc. So this one is a slide from Europol because we see a lot of last year, a lot of kind of attacks like this one. So we copied this slide from them. First one, I will show you that one system which only have the EDR active.
So Barry is going to go show different scenarios, and in this case it's just with EDR enabled. He will show what he's able to do, and then we will build up towards ransomware prevention.
Ja.
Als dat kan, misschien in een browser, dan kunnen ze, als dat niet voor jou in de weg staat om te typen.
Ja. So what I'm now doing is just preparing my command and control server. So we wrote a ransomware script with the name Voldemort. That's as a joke, but it's now active and waiting for any communications to this command and control server. So going to my first victim, let's see this one. So this is the victim we already prepared by having the invoice downloaded from the email, already extracted in this case. And what you can see, it's not a typical PDF. It looks like, but it's just a link to a batch file, etc. on to trigger this ransomware. Also what I will show in the system. So we have Windows Defender active, so it's the free version. Let's see where it is. So Microsoft Defender is currently running, and one of the first steps is when we are at the system, disable this thing to get more access to the system, allow us to run scripts. We have files in the system, very important files, and also for HR files. And they are still not all accessible. I can open them. As soon as I run the ransomware, this will be encrypted at all. So let's minimize this and let's trigger the ransomware now. So it's opening the file. It opens some windows. So if you write a proper ransomware file, it will be all hidden in the backend. But just to show for demo, it triggers some scripts, some application we run. And it will take a few seconds. But if I look already in my environment, I see now that we are downloading the following kind of software to the system. And we have active connection. And we're going back to the platform. We see it now fully active with public IP I'm using. So we remove Defender or stop the services, delete the shadow copies, and so on and on. So from this moment, I'm full control at the system. And I can do anything what I want to do with the system. And also it's now already encrypted. So it's a few files going really fast. And we're now asking to pay 5 Bitcoins as ransomware to get your files back.
I will start the collection now. No, it's...
So the current price of 5 Bitcoin, I think it's around $500,000 at the moment, maybe a bit more. It depends every day. So what we see on the system is also an extra file to sure we know you're ransomed. Some tools we used in the backend. The invoice still open there. But also if I go to my files, let's go to HR files. We see they are now all encrypted with an extension. It's a trap. And we cannot open them anymore. So this is now fully encrypted. So what you can do at the moment, not much. Paying ransomware or make sure you have a good copy somewhere else. Also on our EDR client, which is active, we get some triggers, but then you're always too late because you get alarm. You see it's how fast it's going. But if you look at an alert, it will take a few minutes at least, maybe 10 to 15. That's too late for the ransomware to stop. So let's see if it's a bit working with a slow connection, but on this system we now see alerts coming from.
Yeah. And this is the SIM solution of Rapid7, which you see right now, which is linked to that endpoint.
So looking at the date, so yeah, this is from this morning. So we see this kind of alerts already triggered by our EDR agent, but it's only detection, so we're not stopping anything. So you're always too late. So we have customers using it. It's kind of nice, but yeah, it's painful to pay again a ransomware if you don't have any backups. So in my next steps, I will show the slide. Oh yeah, it's quite a kind of nice one. So in this case, I'll show you. It's fully deployed, but most security vendors are looking how to do detection response, but they're forgetting one important thing, is just how to make sure it can be remediated or prevent first. I think that should be a approach. We need to be more taking care about our vendors as well. The price, about Bitcoin is around $500,000 at the moment. It can be higher today. But the next one I will go to a situation where we have our EDR agent, Defender disabled, and enabled next-gen AV. And time-wise, I will go to the next one as well afterwards, where I'll showcase how it looks like if we also enable ransomware prevention, what the differences are. So we have the same machine, but then installed with next-gen AV solution from Rapid7. We can see the invoice again there. I try to press it, but nothing happens because it's already a known file in my demo environment. So normally, if it's a new file, it will be allow it. But in my EDR software, the SIM solution, I already get now triggers that someone trying to exfiltrate the system, but it will be blocked. If I go to the next one, ransomware prevention, it's at the same result, but there's different thing happening on the system. We give you a warning message. It allows to run the file for us in the sandbox in the meantime. It also looks at the file, what's it trying to do. So we don't look at signatures, but looking at the file, it's trying to open a bad file, it's trying to make connection to outside. And we all block these kind of things. And this is how we prevent ransomware at the moment. But also what we're doing with our agent is, we tell to ransomware files, you're running in a virtual machine. Because we see more and more ransomware groups. If they're detecting it's on a virtual machine, they don't deploy the ransomware because probably it's a sandbox. So we can manipulate from the platform what we give back to the ransomware file. This also helps you to prevent. So this kind of thing is always a cat and mouse game. How to make sure you cannot be ransomed in this case. So if we're going back to the platform, there should be more detection right now. Also looking at the alerts. It's kind of small, I will make it bigger. So we see all kind of alerts, things happening on those machines as well. And one of the big differences is that on the one with, I think I'm too quick now, but I explain. The first one with next-gen AV, it only shows a low message trying to infiltrate your system by an external communication. And in the third option, we just show you we stop the ransomware because we block this kind of communication, this URL, this files have been tried to open, and just to make the prevention happening. So in case, in the second option, if it was an unknown file, the ransomware will still exceed, and the third one not. So also from our research department, we're tracking all these kind of ransomware groups quite a lot, and we see it's a big increase by ransomware attacks based on missing MFA. You probably think MFA, It should be all enabled, but we still, a lot of companies have not enabled on all their devices, but especially on network devices. So a lot of attacks happening currently at VPN concentrators because they don't have the option to enable MFA or not implement it at all. So luckily we see there's a decrease in vulnerability exploitation. So that's good. So more customers are aware about 0 days. Make sure it will be not being used in the ransomware. Social engineering is also declining. And this is what we currently see in the field is that these are the most active at the moment from our last research. And there are 2 new ones popping up. So Akira and Dragon Force. So Akira is trying to use brute force more on the accounts for Microsoft accounts to getting access in there. But Dragon Force is really active at the moment. And they are using a lack of MFA implemented on VPN concentrators. So we see a lot of information about issues with Citrix, FortiGates, NetScalers, or all these kind of VPN modules. Most of them are abused by Dragon Force. Yeah, so this was quickly what I want to show you from this ransomware demo. We can tell way more about it. I'll show more of our products. But are there any questions in the room? Because we have some minutes left.
How many system resources does it take for a system to sandbox almost every file executed?
Can you repeat the file, Peter? With the mic.
How much is the impact on system resources by executing almost every file in a sandbox?
That's a really good question. So Peter already told it's a lightweight. It's roughly about 800 megabytes we're doing.
Yeah.
And also depending on how we do this kind of things. So if it's a really small file, we can do it in a really quick sandbox. If it's more complicated, it will take a bit more at the moment.
So 800 added to a gig max?
Yeah, correctly.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question in the room? Then I would thank you all for being here and have a great day today.